We're going to call to order the May 22nd, 2018 regular City Council meeting at 6 p.m. Let the record reflect that all the council members are present. And if you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Would you remain standing for anything they'd like to add to it? If not, could I have a motion?
Fires have been ruled as arson by the Bexar County Fire Marshal's Office. We're dealing with a serial arsonist right now. The only eyewitness information we have is video evidence that was taken from one of the businesses. It was very grainy footage, but we were able to make out a male subject, no ethnicity, appeared to be late teens, early 20s. The video shows him entering close to where the vehicle was started on fire, and as soon as the vehicle catches on fire, it shows him running from the scene. We're pretty sure it's the same guy. The police department's asking for your help with any information concerning these fires. You can contact Sergeant Gary Russell at 830-931-2222, or you can contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-367-2833. Crime Stoppers is willing to pay up to $2,000 for information leading to an arrest or conviction of these individuals for this crime. That's it.
Thank you, Lieutenant Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else wish to speak before citizens' comments? Mr. Lee?
I'm surprised Ms. Delavan didn't get up. Yeah, Bob Lee, 1314 Gentiles. Two items tonight in council, mayor, staff. You have the street issue on here, which is great. I know you, in discussions, y'all talked about doing some of the streets with cold overlay, and I didn't see that addressed anywhere. So I would appreciate it if you would still consider that for those things that might be applicable to go that route, since it is less expensive and it has held up extremely well for us. The other one is on Athens Street, and I'm glad that you've got a good study done on that situation. It looks like we're looking for a 100% solution, and I don't know that if that doesn't happen at this point in time, maybe look at addressing those specific properties that are having an issue.
And caring about your city. I once sat up there. It's a tough job, but you can do it. I want to congratulate all the outgoing council people. Thank you for serving. It's a tough place to be, let me tell you. I lived it. I still got the hate mail, still got the egg stains on my garage door. But in the end, it was all worth it. And Eric, for you and I, maybe we can get a little more fishing done. Anything I can do to help any of y'all, I'm just a phone call away. I'm a simple guy. I deal with facts, and that's how I make my decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Anyone else wish to speak before council? That's it. We'll close citizens' comments. 6:06 p.m. Moving on to item number 7, recognition of outgoing council members. And we have a little gift for y'all. And I think we'll just start individually with each one. Phil? Happy yours? These all read the same, but we'll read them anyways. Appreciation of your service to the community as council member for District 3 from June 2015 to May 2018. We thank you on behalf of the citizens of Castroville. Thank you. And we got this little...
Mayor, what's the difference?
That's so you won't forget who you are.
Eric?
Get my point.
This one has special meaning, because it's a clock. We appreciate your service for the community as council member for District 4 from August 2009 to May 2018. The city thanks you very much. Thank you. In appreciation of your service to the community as council member for District 5 from May 2012 to May 2018. Thank you, Vic.
They get to look at the other side of it.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Going on to item number 8. I just want to say a few things before we begin, and I want to tell you all what an honor it is to serve with all of you up here. And I think if this has been said before, but this is a new direction for the city. There's nobody here that was here a year ago. I mean, except for us, we were here a year at this time. The council has completely changed over, and I believe that's a new direction that the city wants to see us go. And one of those that I think that we need to look at, if there's the two things that the citizens in this town complain about, it's their utilities and the streets. I think that we have an opportunity to work on both of those at this time. If you look at the way our utility bills are taken care of in Castroville, the electric subsidizes the water and the sewer. If there's one thing that we've noticed over the last couple of years with droughts, even in the strictest drought conditions, Castroville does not conserve water. We still use the same amount of water. I believe that we can significantly lower the electric rates in Castroville. I believe that the water rates are too low. I think that we need to look at the water and sewer rates, and I think we need to raise them. People can conserve water. People need electric to cool their houses. I don't think that we should be subsidizing the water and the sewer. And one of the biggest reasons that we've never had before is we have East Side development coming, and it's here. I mean, we're in the process of negotiating with several developers that are going to build out here. The one problem we have is we do not have the electric on the east side of Castroville. So what that means is that all of us in the community will be subsidizing the water and sewer for them on the east side. And I don't think that's right. I think it's something that we have to change now, and I think it's doable. We have a chance to lower what people want, lower the electric rates, and I think they can conserve water a little better than what they are. People are looking for a positive change in Castroville. This council is an example of that. Nobody's here that was here before, and I think these are the two biggest things. You have an opportunity this evening to approve a street repaving program that is what we can afford. We didn't borrow the money for it. We have the money in our budget. We got way better rates than what we thought we would get to do the work. They're way lower than what we figured. We had a number of bidders, 8 bidders, and it's good. It's a good thing for Castroville. I think that, and another thing is drainage projects. We've looked at ways that we can afford it and we can do it. And what I would like is you guys support to do one thing, lower the electric rates in Castroville. We can implement a street program that we can afford. And we need to be good stewards on the development that's going to happen on the east side of Castroville. And I know that the county supports us on this. They're going to work with us to help us. And let's make it better for the people that we represent. And does anyone else have any comments they'd like to make? Short comments? If not, then we'll move on to the next item. Item number 9, presentation by Judge Chris Schuhart and the plaintiffs to expand the Medina County Courthouse and Jail. Chris?
Yeah, it might help to turn off the lights. Thank you, Mayor and council members, for letting me come here, and for citizens that are here. Medina County is growing, as you just heard the mayor talk. We are growing fast, and I'm going to go through this presentation a lot faster than I normally would, because I know you all have a lot of things to do tonight. When I get through, I'll hopefully have time to answer some questions. But I'm making this presentation to as many people as I can, because you people are the leaders in this community. You people care. Y'all are leaders also. You care, or you wouldn't be here. And when somebody comes up to you in the next year and says, the judge and the commissioner's court are going to, and Larry Sitter, my commissioner's right there, he's behind this. They're going to spend a lot of money, taxpayers' money, building a new jail or adding on to the jail and building an annex. I want y'all to be able to tell them, yes, I've seen what they're doing and it's needed. Hopefully you can say that when I get through here, because it is needed terribly. If you don't remember one thing tonight, remember this. Medina County Courthouse was last expanded in 1940. In 1940, the population of Medina County was 16,000 people. We now control, we're 3 times bigger than that, and we have the exact same number of square feet in the Medina County Courthouse as we did in 1940. Population today is over 50,000 people. We're applying to get a new district court for Medina County. That means Medina County is now big enough to have our own district judge in our own county. We currently share with Uvalde County, Real County, the 38th Judicial District, but we have enough workload in Medina County for 1 full-time judge. And if we get that, not only will we'll fill that person in the courthouse, that person will have their own courtroom, just like the county court of law judge will in the new annex, and we'll be able to move dockets. Right now, and as I'll get into in a little bit, justice is pretty slow in Medina County if something happens. Currently, we have 3 courtrooms. The large courtroom, has anybody ever been to jury duty? If you've ever been to the large courtroom in a jury duty, it holds 110 people, and likely, if you got a seat, God bless you. If you didn't, you were standing up, because the place is packed when you're picking a jury. The small courtroom, which is right next to the county court of law judge, holds about 20 people. You cannot have a jury trial in there. There's not enough space. It's good for a bench trial, which means the judge and whoever's there, and you can fit 20 people in it. So the jail courtroom holds about 46 people. So what we do now is we can do a full jury trial at the jail, but you can't pick a jury there because 46 people isn't enough to pick a jury. 110 people is generally not enough to pick a jury. But that's what we're stuck with, and that's how we have to do it. So what happens now is also, because you have to limit the size of the crowd, the law says that if I am on trial and my family wants to come in and pick a jury and watch the trial go on, the law says my family gets to come there. If there's not room, you make room for them. And if we don't have enough room in the courthouse, well, guess what? They appealed the case in Medina County. Unfortunately, because of an error on the appeal, it did not get reversed. But this is after a full jury trial. They would have won had there not been an error. So in Medina County, we have a district judge. As I said earlier, we share her with 2 other counties, but we're getting ready to have our own. She's here 10 days a month. We have the occasion, because of her job, to have time-sensitive hearings, meaning temporary restraining orders, kick-out orders, and things of that nature that are of an emergency nature. She does criminal dockets at the jail because all of her people are felons, so a lot of her people are in jail when she has the criminal docket, and that saves the sheriff from having to bring them over to the courthouse and transport them. So she goes to the district judge goes to the jail for criminal dockets. She also does criminal trials for incarcerated people there at the jail, again, because the sheriff doesn't have to transport them and bring them back and forth every day. She does revocation dockets. That's people that are out on some type of pretrial or diversions of some sort, and they violate it, and they get revoked, and they go to jail. The county court at law judge is, she also uses the courtroom almost every day. She is the family law judge, and she does time-sensitive hearings more frequent than anybody, so she is in there almost every day, and she uses the little courtroom for almost everything except for her criminal dockets, where she has to use the big courtroom. So she regularly schedules the big courtroom for criminal dockets. She does about 5 a month in the big courtroom and shares that with the district judge. She does revocation dockets at the jail, so now she's competing with the jail dockets of what's going on out there with the district judge when she needs to go out there. She does family, juvenile, and guardianship cases, which are all time sensitive. Juveniles have to be heard within 72 hours. Family law, hey, y'all all know it. People get in fights, next thing you know they're in court, and somebody's getting kicked out or something's happening, and those are all time sensitive, especially when it involves children. The AG judge comes to Medina County 2 days a month to handle child support collection. The Child Protective Services judge comes 3 days a month. And she needs a courtroom, and both of those need big courtrooms to do what they do, because they generally have pretty large dockets. And with the growth of the county, those dockets are going to be more frequent and more often. The county judge, that's me. I preside about 3 days a month, and sometimes I preside more depending on whether the county court of law judge is in trial and needs somebody to go take a docket for her, so I can do that to back her up. The justice of the peace, 1 and 3 are both in that courtroom, and they need courts. They do criminal dockets infrequently, but they're the people you go to if you have a case under $20,000 and you don't want to pay the money for a lawyer, you want to do it all yourself, that's who you do it in front of. So they do civil dockets, probably 5 a month. All of those judges, so they preside as they come in, but they do about 5 a month apiece. I've asked them to give me a report, and that's what they told me. The visiting judges come in a lot because the district judge, only been here 10 days a month, has to have somebody take her docket sometimes when she has another docket going on. So we have another judge you tack onto that. And the AG, CPS, JP 1 and 3 are all subject to being pushed. So if the district judge or the county court of law judge has to have an emergency hearing and one of those judges have that courtroom, guess what? They don't have a courtroom anymore. And they have to push their dockets to some other time because we just don't have space. So when you have a multi-day jury or bench trial, it's very difficult because they schedule these courts a year to a year and a half out in advance. So the other day, the county court of law judge had a bench trial that was going to take 4 days. And they're ready to go. This is about a month ago. The first day she could find a courtroom 4 days in a row was at the end of October. So you look at that and say, how in the heck, you know, these people, it's a divorce case, they want to get divorced, all right? But they're going to have to wait until October or November because they can't have a courtroom available 4 days in a row. So it's difficult. So the jury and multi-day trials are currently scheduled 6 to 18 months out. So as I said, justice can be pretty slow in Medina County if you don't settle your cases. The district and county court of law judges both set their calendars a year to 18 months out, so they have courts set up and they know they have a courtroom for when they have court. The remaining judges then have to just schedule around them, and it's a zoo. It would almost take an engineer to get the schematics together of all these courts and the person taking care of them. So the large courtroom, as I said earlier, is not really big enough to effectively hold a jury trial and the people involved. And the acoustics, because of the age of that building, we've improved them tremendously, but they're still not that great. Security at our courthouse is a problem. They'll all been in there. There's 3 entrances. So if we do the metal detector, which one do we put it at? And if we put it at one end, the other 2 get shut off. Citizens are going, what the hell? You know, all the parking is everywhere. So security at our courthouse is a problem as far as trying to take care of all the people in there. The slower movement of civil dockets and trial settings, and that includes family law, so it's all pretty slow. The criminal dockets increases the jail population, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So the jail population, if we have a district judge here 10 days a month, and she's doing not only civil dockets, but criminal, she just doesn't have time sometimes to get them all done. Current courthouse, we have a district judge in it, we have a county court of law judge in it, we have a JP1 and 3, the county clerk, a district clerk, a county attorney. We have no break rooms. There's 44 employees in the courthouse, and we do not have a break room. The Boy Scouts just built a little shed outside with picnic tables, so the courthouse employees think we're the greatest, or the Boy Scouts are the greatest thing since sliced bread, because they can at least go sit outside at the picnic table under a shed. There are no lactation rooms. For those of you that are in the corporate world, you know that you're required now to have lactation rooms for young mothers so they can do their thing with babies. We don't have that, but we're looking for it. We have not a public refrigerator. The district clerk asked me to buy a refrigerator for the court. I said, that's great. I'll buy it. Where are you going to put it? And where are you going to put it where there's not everybody in the public can come see it? So there's no break room, there's no hot water in the bathrooms. 44 people, about 40 of them are women. No offense against women, but my wife's one of them, and she complains about no hot water frequently. So then we own, and if it says own, we own it. If it says lease, we lease it. We own the tax office. We own the treasurer's office. We lease the auditor's office. We own the elections office, the district attorney's office we own, the health unit we own, the extension service office we own, the county judge and human resources building we own, and the environmental health building we own, and the veteran service office we own. So all of those buildings are where we house people now because there's no room in the courthouse. For those of you that are history people, the treasurer's office used to be a vet clinic. The tax office used to be a car repair shop. Commissioner Sitter's building used to be the church. We're pretty good at buying buildings that have no use for the county, but we make it into a county use because it's either convenient or close. And the elections office used to be Chapman Green. So that's what the county's done over the years to make up for space. The goal is to put everybody in the current courthouse and the new one that we build. So the jail, onto the jail. We currently have 96 beds in our jail. It was built in 1999. 2018 average daily population was 118 inmates a day. So we're shipping them off to Bandera County, Atascosa County, Live Oak County, Gillespie County, and wherever we can, we're shipping them off. And last year, it cost us $575,000 to pay for out-of-county housing, and that does not include, these are direct costs, the 2 transport deputies, the 2 cars they have, which they put 300,000 miles on pretty quickly, and what we pay other counties. The judge of Bandera County loves me because I write him big checks every month. The Commissioner's Court approves big checks, and all I ask him to do is fill the lake every once in a while. So, but $575,000 we could use in a lot of other ways. We currently have over 450 outstanding warrants, so if we built a 500-bed jail, the sheriff could fill it tomorrow. All he has to do is go exercise those warrants. So what the sheriff has to do is he has to be careful on what he picks up. I mean, if you didn't show up to court because you were arrested for smoking dope, odds are they're not going to pick you up. Don't print that, please. But if you burned a car up and you didn't show up to court, odds are you're going to get picked up. So the sheriff has to determine who he's going to pick up, because he could fill that jail in a minute if it ever isn't full. and if we build a new one. Texas Jail Standards, which is who we have to follow, came back on a study and said we need 96 more beds. And with that, we need another courtroom. So we need to build a courtroom to go with the 96 new beds. We're going to expand and remodel the current offices because the sheriff's deputies from 99 till now have increased tremendously, as have all the other services. So we got to add office space, remodel what we have, and add 96 new beds, and that should make us good for the next 20 years. But as y'all know, it's flowing over the east end of the county, so it may not be, but that's the way it works. So what is it going to, I thought I'd point this out to you. Just look at the new cases filed. How does this thing look? Okay, it doesn't work on that. So new cases filed in the district civil for 2013, 182 were filed in 13, 490 in 17. So more than 2.5 times what was there in 5 years. In 5 years, the new cases filed in the criminal have gone up from 259 to 374. And that, none of that includes what the County Court of Law does. And the County Court of Law has concurrent jurisdiction with the district court, and she takes all the family law cases, which are typically district court cases. So that's just an idea of what's growing. And then the next question is debt. Currently, the county is in excellent shape for debt. We owe a total of bottom right corner, we owe $1.274 million a year in debt. Our debt rate, according to our people that are going to do the bond for us, is outstanding. We're just at a little under 3% is what our debt rate is, and that, when you look at that compared to Pickett County around us, I promise you our debt rate's lower than theirs, because I've looked at them all. And some of them go up to as high as 8%. Ours is at under 3, and we're going to, with all this, we'll take it up to 5. But if you remember anything else, second thing to remember is we can do all this without raising your taxes. So that is because once we get that debt paid off, we'll start paying new debt in 2020, and by 2024, everything else will be paid off, and the new debt will probably be about $1.8 million. So you take the $1.2 million that you just saw there, add $575 to it, we're almost at $2 million. And we can make the debt payments with that, and it's going to cost us, that jail, that's a minimum, about $17.5. If I had to guess, it may be closer to $20. But that's what it's going to cost us to build those 2 buildings. And the way we are growing right now, and with everything that's going on in this county, we can do all of that and not raise your taxes. Questions? Did I do that fast enough, Mayor?
Awesome.
Perfect. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Mr. Beck.
Are all the expansions going to take place in Congo, the county seat?
Yes.
And I know we got a beautiful courtroom out here in the new county building. What kind of court is that used for?
That is used for it was built for 2 purposes. One was for the JP court. It was also built to use as for public meetings that we have and things of that nature. We cannot hold district court in that area because the law says we have to have it within 5 miles of the courthouse. So we're limited on where we can have district court, and the CCL court is almost the same way because all the files are sitting in that courthouse. So when, the files and everything got to go with the judge. So if you have 5 docket cases, you may be bringing in a tray full of information. So that's one of the problems. The annex will be built where the Chapman Grain is, catty corner from us, from the courthouse, where Chapman Grain used to be. We own that whole lot. And we're going to take down Stonehenge. If any of y'all have ever seen that concrete structures that are sitting there, all that's going to go away, and we will build the annex there. The jail right now has 96 beds, and at the end of it, there's a door, and when you open that door, there'll be 96 more beds right on the back side of the jail.
We all know that salaries and benefits is one of the big expenses for entities.
Yes.
And I'm a board member on Medina County 901 District. I am very much in favor of your building. but I would like to see that the 911 district and the Medina CAD and the tax office all get in there so we can network, so we don't pay individual people to key in the same information 3 different times.
And I think we could probably manage that. I haven't got an answer from my tax collector if she wants to move. Because she's happy where she's at. And if she's happy, she collects your taxes and my taxes and your taxes, and we want her to be happy. That's the way I can put it. And you can print that, Stephen, that we want Melissa to be very happy. Anybody else?
One more question on your, about using the new county building in Cashville. The Attorney General's office has recognized that as a place to hold court.
Yeah, except you can't have district court there. The AG court can go there, the CPS court can go there, but the district and CCL cannot. So that's an issue. And we also, I'm just going to tell you that when we built that, it looks really big, but we purposely, on the back end of it, it's big enough to put 4 more offices in for when we keep growing and we need to expand. We can put the back side, you can easily put 4 offices, and it's going to make that courtroom littler. So it looks like we built this big courtroom, but it was intentionally built so we can add on if we need to. Anybody else?
How much is it going to cost for the new judge and the employees to go with it?
That's a good question. Right now, we pay 60% of the district court salary and the district attorney's salary to Uvalde County. They pay 35%, and Real County pays 5%. The money that we pay right now to them, because the district judge and the district attorney are paid for by the state. So the state pays their salary, their benefits. We pay the supporting cast, the ADAs, we pay the staff and all that, and we pay the office space. But what we pay Uvalde right now will almost cover that. It will be less than $50,000 additional expense to the county, and we'll have our own everything here. So we pay the lion's share of what's happening in those courts right now. The county does, the taxpayers, you guys do. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the public refrigerator about?
It's not a public refrigerator. It's just that you go to work, you take your lunch, and you don't have a refrigerator to put it in. Okay? So it's not for the public to come in. It's got to be a private refrigerator for employees to put their stuff in.
Okay.
So they want to come to work. Right now, they eat their lunches at their desk.
Okay. Public is kind of strange.
I gave this presentation a couple weeks ago, and there was a lady from, not the ADA, she was with one of those government employment agencies, and I just told her, shut your ears while I'm talking this part, because I really want you to hear it, because they're probably not in compliance. Labor and employment. I forgot who she was with, Mr. Hanza.
Judge, you said you won't have to go up on our taxes.
Yes, sir.
How can you provide us with all this new facility and people? And I mean, it sounds like a magic trick, because if you could do it, I guess other people should be able to do it.
There's 3 things. One is $575,000 will not be spent paying for out of county. Secondly, our debt service is getting paid off, and as it's getting paid off, we have more of that money already allocated to pay debt, to pay off the new debt. And third is we're growing. We grew our net amount. I know the city had an increase in their values. The county as a whole grew about close to 250 to 300 million. We don't have a final number last year. So at the county's tax rate of 43 cents, just do the math on 300 million, that's 1.2 million.
Yeah,
1.2.
I just got my statement from the appraisal office. I can understand why we might not have to raise taxes.
So, well, all I can say to that is, would you rather have the value of your property go up or down? Because there are counties where it's going down. Yes.
Is there any consideration for expanding more than we need? Because it seems
You know, it's hard enough to go to the taxpayers and tell them we're going to spend $17.5 million without telling them that we're going to spend 8 more just because we want to be double prepared. So that we hope this is going to last for 20 more years, okay? And so we're not trying to spend more than we have to. Sure. That's our purpose.
We did, when they built the last jail, they built it where we could keep on adding on. So that was a good forethought back in 1999, whenever they built that where we keep on adding on, and that's what we're planning on doing.
So make sure that the projections are showing that as fast as we're going to grow, that we're not going to outgrow this jail in 5 years. That, you know, I think everyone could live with 10 or 15 if we projected 20, but 5 years would be.
The jail standards has their mathematical wizardry, and that's what we have to follow. And so that is an issue. You know, don't get me wrong, I don't think about it, but at the same time, if the jail standard says we need 96 beds, and that's what we're going to build. Anybody? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Excuse. Thanks.
Going on to item number 10, discussion to take appropriate action on awarding the bid for the 2018 street program. Larry? You're the man.
All right, Council. On May 16th, 2018, we opened bids for the 2018 street project that we had sent out. As you referenced earlier, we had 8 bids. 3 of them we had to disqualify. They didn't submit all the requested documents and stuff they needed to do, so that took us down to 5 bids. The lowest bidder was All In Construction.
I'm sorry.
While she's doing that, real quick, I just want to interrupt you. There was an item on this report called the Addendum 1.
Addendum 1 was, I initially specified a motion that I thought would be good and spread our costs out. Being not from Texas, I wasn't that up, but it just looked good to me. And after I talked to several people, it was better for the western part of the state than it was for our part of the state, so I changed the different type of motion to more fit our area.
So the addendum is product of that change, or was that the addendum before you got that information? I mean, which one?
Excuse me.
Is the addendum a product of that information?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
As you can see, the project is, we're going to do about 120,175 square yards of work. That's what's planned. And you see on the list there, all the streets we listed that I listed because of our street survey I had done in 15 and 16. These are all the streets that would qualify for chip seal and patching and chip seal, but not for overlay or complete construction. And you can see up there it says the lowest bidder, all in construction. That's their address. Their single course is $1.62 per square yard. Their double course cost is $3.12 per square yard. I did break out, go to the next slide please. That is the total streets altogether that we want to do. The 2 red ones are the 2 streets I'm going to ask Mr. Sitter to do for us when we get the chance. But that's a whole. Now if you go to the next one. You see the color, almost purple up there. There's 3 areas plus a couple small areas. Those are the ones that I consider need a double course of chip seal. Now can you go back to, I'm sorry, that one? So you can see single course is, I'm sorry, I messed it up. The single course, that's why I was hurrying these slides. The single course is actually $162,231. The double course is $60,525. Those amount numbers are switched. So the total projected cost for what we have out there is $223,805.
What was the amount we approved was $480,000? Up to. But we had 700 available. 725. But the reason we chose 480 was that we could approve it 25% more and do more streets. This just goes to show you what a really good bid we got, because we can do more streets than what we originally had planned. Go ahead, Larry.
So, I mean, that's you know, like the mayor says, we can do more streets. If we end up doing something double course, it looks like we need to carry double course farther than we can. And if we find something that, you know, if we do a single course street, it runs into a street that still needs to have more single course we can move, we have quite a bit of leeway to keep moving and do quite a few more streets. With this lowest bidder, as I said in my memo, I didn't initially have any references. I got a hold of them, got some references. They have worked in the city of Devine, the city of Livonia, the city of Converse, the city of Floresville. They were all very happy with their work. They did almost $16 million work with the county of Martin. They were happy with their work. So I think this will be a good company. Everybody says they're easy to work with. They do good things for the cities they work with. So I'm recommending we accept the lowest bidder for this project.
Any questions, Herb?
What's the time frame to complete it?
I think they put in...
It should be in your packet.
14 days.
How long was it?
It's a short time frame.
14 days to do all of that? Is that?
Yeah, chip sealing, it goes pretty quick when you block it off there.
Since the number came in so low, is there any possibility that we can add more streets or
That was the
repair some
plan.
streets?
That was the plan, to add more streets.
Because I still am kind of hung up on the idea that we're really improving a lot of streets that are pretty good streets. We're going to make them last a long time. We're going to maintain them.
That's the whole purpose of chip seal, is to take a street that's already fairly decent, add a chip seal to it, either one course, two course, so you can increase the life of that one. Unlike the ones who need overlay and rebuild, chip seal on them would be pretty much make it wear out in a hurry, because there's nothing there to hold the chip seal on.
Will we be adding any of those streets with the remainder of the money in this effort, or is that something we're going to defer till next year?
I would hope that we would do as many streets as we can. We have it budgeted. We were anticipating the bids to be much higher than what they are. I would suggest that we let them put the rest of the list on there and see how many we can get done for the money we budgeted. That's the reason we said up to 480, because we could have a contingency to approve it 25% more, but we're way under that. Has there been any consideration, because the bids came in so low, to just go ahead and double coat all of them that we're going to do? And we'd still be under budget.
We can do that. I think if you look on my memo, to do all the streets at double coat, $374,946.
That we're...
If we get all those streets at double coat.
What's that, Paul?
It's more than double what we're looking at.
Yeah, but it still keeps us way below our budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is about 42% of the streets right now?
Correct.
Right. You had something, Phyllis?
Yes, I do. I have a problem with this, as I said before, is the selection of the streets. To me, right now with our budget and the problems we have in our city, we don't, maintaining to me doesn't seem to be a priority. I'd like to know if any of these streets are those that are flooded, or any of these, including cul-de-sacs, which don't chip seal on a cul-de-sac needs to be thought of or thought about a little more carefully. I have a problem with the selection of the streets and the reason why we're doing this rather than going for the real problems that are damaging our cars and damaging property. I have a problem. And I think also this before our $3 million Athens Street drainage proposal, it just doesn't make sense to me. The $3 million Athens Streets, I don't think that's in our budget at all. Neither are these change orders that we're having.
Let's stay on the item that
No,
we're talking about.
it is important to understand, you're asking us for 3 million, another 120,000.
Phyllis, I'm telling you, stay on the streets. That's
The
another
streets
agenda
we
item.
cannot afford. So
Okay.
get rid of those other ones.
That's your
then.
opinion.
It's not. You're asking for 3 million on another agenda item that's at the end after this.
We'll discuss it when we get to it.
All right?
Paul?
The citizens need their streets repaired, and this is an opportunity to do that at an affordable rate. We can't just ignore the streets.
It's not a repair.
Anything else, Paul?
That's it.
Jesse?
And I wonder what you were talking about, certain ones having a single coat, and then because we've got such a good deal, how big of an advantage is that to double coat them?
If we double coated all the streets,
The ones that, yeah, what does that do for us?
and, well, the ones that I have, the reason I have them double coated is because they were they have a few more crack sealing and patching needs to be done on it than the others. But if we did all the streets at double course, we just increase the life and the durability of them.
By how much? I mean, you got, what I'm asking is, if you've got one that you are saying we need a single coat on, and if we do double coat it, okay, well, let me back up. With a single coat, how long do you estimate that would last before we needed anything else done to that street?
Both coats give you about 5 to 7 extra more years. So if you look, or one coat each 5 to 7 years, so if you look at 2 coats, you're talking 15 years.
So you're saying if we put a double coat down on a street, we're talking 15 years before anything needs to be done to it?
Since they're streets with good bases, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Tom?
I guess my question is, what are we going to do with the streets that need more maintenance than this?
We're gonna, the plan was, we had a very limited budget that we could work with this year. The plan was to do as many streets as we could, chip seal, single course, the ones that need double course, do that. Next year, we don't know what the amount is, but we were gonna go rebuild some streets that need to be rebuilt. There is a plan to do that next year. There are streets in Phyllis's district, River Bluff is some of those that need to be rebuilt. They need new base work done to them. And the plan was to redo those next year, but we had such limited money to start with. We wanted to get the most bang for our buck, and we have done nothing to these streets for years. We've got to do something or we're going to lose them all. There are streets out there that are cracking, that are good streets, and this would help preserve them. I believe that, and I'm going to step out there, I'm going to ask Larry for an opinion. I think if we double coated all these streets, we'd be better off than doing the single course. Is that your opinion, Larry?
Which Larry are you talking about?
You.
You know, I didn't really want to get into
okay.
y'all are doing y'all's money. When you're seal coating, I'm not an engineer. I've been doing this a long time, my whole entire life. When you're seal coating, what you're doing, you're sealing up the crack to keep the mortar from going down into the road base and deteriorating the road base. I would, instead of thinking about a double seal coat, on a first coat to cover the streets you got, I would say you're going to be estimating putting down your all at .32 or .34. Your poundage of rock is probably going to be around 7 pounds per square yard. I would up the oil 5% to like 36 and use one shot of rock one time. That's what I will do.
What's in our specs, Larry?
Instead of going double seal, I don't see the purpose of doing a double seal. Once you seal it, it's sealed. You're sealing the cracks, the water from going down into the road base. That's what you're doing.
I have .35 in there.
If the road is worse than that, you need to rebuild it. Because the seal coat will not hold.
Do you think that raises the price of it?
No, I had .35 in there now.
Is that what you said, .35?
I would shoot the oil, I just said .35 is where I would have started at. .37 would be a bunch, you rated about 5% more oil. That's what I do, go with a little bit more oil and 1 coat of rock. Your rock is going to be your least amount of money, but you are putting a second coat, and probably about 7 pounds per square yard is all you're going to need. On new construction, you're going to be shooting your oil about 38, and your coat of rock around 11 or 12 pounds.
Thank you.
I got one more question.
Sure. Go ahead.
Some of these streets on the list here are, I don't know the word to use other than they're not smooth. So it seems to me like they need some work before they could even be seal coated.
We're doing some work.
Okay.
And that was for the city to do to save expenses.
Yeah, we're doing that. Any other questions?
Can I just ask for clarification? I'm very supportive of maintaining the roads. I think we have to support them, especially when you say we're going to have a number of years where we won't have to go back to these roads. So when we start working next year to go fix the bad roads, which is what I hope we do, we can concentrate on that. And because there's a lot of roads on here that look pretty good to me right now, but I agree we should maintain them. But one clarification I would ask for, are we going to stop at this number and this is what we're going to do, what's on the board right now, or are we going to take the amount of money we have and say expand the list?
I'm asking to have approved to expand the list to do the total amount of streets we can do for the budget amount that we have budgeted for it, and give the Public Works Director and City Administrator the leeway to do that 25% over the 480. I think the number was 480, wasn't it, Marie? I'm pretty sure it was. But we have the money budgeted. Let's get as many streets done as we can. Let's 480.
For 480.
But the contingency was for 25% more. That's what's in the budget. If there's streets.
Going up to 480.
Yeah, up to 480. Any problem? Anybody good?
Well, Larry, you have a list of other streets that are in various levels of decay. Some of those are not commonly used by residents only, whereas a lot of the streets that are on this list are through streets that are being used by a large portion of the community. You would be able then to prioritize those additional streets in terms of, I guess, from one end of the scale to the other, in terms of how desperately they need repair and how heavily they're used.
Right, that would all be considered, and in the study we had done, I think you've all got a copy of it, that was all taken into consideration.
It was.
So I would just go to the next streets on the list.
Okay.
And try to, I have a lot of what they call blue streets that are, chip seal will just extend their life, and I probably put some more of them on there, some more ones that are good.
Any other questions?
I do, I have another one.
Yes, ma'am.
Bringing up the categories of streets, are any of these streets minor, marginal, that you're fixing? Are they all thoroughfares, arterial?
I don't think there's, there might only be one arterial. I think there isn't any arterial.
So they're all like minor streets? That how many homes?
That's what the majority of all our streets in town are. We don't have very many arterial.
So what about, we don't have collective either?
Not very many. I think we got a couple. We have a handful.
Are those on here?
There was on there. Yeah, a couple of them are on there.
So wouldn't we want those streets before marginal streets or minor streets?
Yeah, that's what we'll have to look at. Like I said, the use.
At least can I get you guys to look at that to see which ones, as far as categories of streets, we spend the money on those that are more important, maybe, if we're all for maintaining them. All right.
Real good. Any other questions?
I have some.
Yes, sir.
I'm, after listening to Larry back there, it's just a Larry up here, and even though you said, I believe that you said that it would double the life, I've never seen anything do that. I'm not an engineer, but I've just never seen anything double the life. I think we could probably get much more, I guess, bang for our buck by only single coating, and as Larry said, add more oil. And that's just, not being an engineer, and I know Larry works daily on the roads, and I know you do too. But like I say, I have never seen a deal where you double something, you get twice as much for it. You may get a little out of it, but not. I don't see the double. And so, for my part, I'm thinking, and I'm wholly in favor of fixing these roads. They've been a long time coming, but I think single coat. And if it needs more than a single coat, then I think we need to get, like we plan on doing, get the county and get the thing rebuilt where it wouldn't need that situation. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Can I have a motion to award the bid and authorize the city administrator to enter into a contract with the lowest bidder with an amount not to exceed $480,000?
I'll give you that motion.
Motion by Councilman Carey. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Byers. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. Motion carries. Everybody clear what we're doing? Okay.
No.
Going on to item number 11, discussion and appropriate action on change order number 1 and change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant expansion project. Larry? Russell?
Russell's not here. He's at I don't know what he's somewhere.
He's out of town.
He's out of town. I know that much. This is Daryl.
I'm Daryl Spill.
From their office.
Can we turn the lights on?
With the presentation.
You have another presentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can make it work.
Here, I did. Here you go. There you go. Stops it. There you go.
All right, this is an update on the wastewater treatment plant. We'll just kind of go through the points. Barney Construction is on track to finish it as they're supposed to. There's been a little bit of schedule revision due to the weather, but we have no major budget impacts on the system. Respec, which is why they're here, they're our resident project. They do the inspection, they do all the billing, the billing review and all that for the city. Their contract, as you can see, was $299,000. They want to spend 55% of their budget, so they're under budget. There'll be something, they'll get close, but they don't think they're going to use all of their money. Caricon, which does all the material testing, like the concrete, mostly the concrete pours. That's what most of their money's for. They're also under budget facility. It doesn't supply chlorine to the change order 1 we have in there. That is a separate building. It only does irrigation. This does everything else. When we first talked about needing what the TCQ said we did wrong, we thought about trying to run a line from this building up to where we needed it, but it ended up being more expensive than trying to just do what we offered in change order 1. The loan funds, if you look down at the bottom, about 11, the overall project total was $11,497,688. The loan only is with the, except for design costs, so we have which they're both predicting that they're not going to spend their full budgets. And this kind of breaks it down. There's a little over 9,000 left in the contingency. There's excess of 111,000 in the regular fund. The 69,000 is a number that we were fined, or we did some violations over the last few years. They finally caught up with this, so that is a fine that violation we could have to pay the TCEQ if we don't do some things to mitigate it. Change order 1 is the big one to mitigate that fine. And then change order 2 is the road. That's just for accessibility to the plant itself. Right now, we took that out. Because of the way this project designed, it's at the end, at the start of the project, we did what's called value engineering. So we pulled everything out that we thought we could do with to see how many funds were left at the end of the project. And as we have extra funds left at the end of the project, we put those value-added items back in, and the street road improvement. They haven't shut it down yet because they're going to have to pull the wire out, and then we have to make sure all that is still good enough. It's for power and control.
Power and control.
Yeah, it's for both. If that ends up being too much of a problem, then some of the funds we have extra that we're trying to use on change order 1 and 2 will have to be dedicated to this, because we have to have this part. This project that part of the project has to be done.
That's a long conduit. How is that going to be inspected? Is it going to be visually cameraed, or?
No, what we'll do is they'll pull the wire out and see if they have any problems, and then the plan is to wash it out and make sure all the forces out nice and clean, and then put the conduit back in.
So can we actually approve anything before you give us a yes or no on this?
Well, the way we designed it, well, you can. I need to give the TCEQ confirmation that we're going to do the coordination building, so I can try to save us some funds.
So change order 2 is something we ought.
If this comes off the change order, we have to do the conduit. I'm still going to have to do the coordination building, only it'll have to come out of the regular budget. If I don't do the coordination building, we end up having to pay the fine, and then I'm still going to have to do the coordination building before I have our next inspection.
And what's the fine?
At the moment, it's the $69,649.
If they reduce that fine?
Yes, it was originally
82,200.
What was this fine for?
Multiple things.
Look, I have them right here.
It's in your mail.
There's 11 different violations. There's minor ones, major ones. Most of them are failure to report.
We had a lot of changeover staff, both in my offices.
Yeah, this is, I have a real issue with this, folks. I don't think that we're operating in a very good manner when we deal with it. The problem with this is that we have to do something by June 6th, or that $82,000 fine is going to be in effect.
I've already started the process.
Okay, and that's something.
Let me finish. If we don't approve they've negotiated this, so it's a fine. We're paying the money. We're gonna tap loan proceeds to do these upgrades to the different facilities, and that's in lieu of the fine. So we get something for it. We're going to get a building. The issue that I have with these is, everybody's blaming it on a new inspector, but most of these violations we got, a city employee told the inspector about. So, I mean, we got thrown under the bus. I have a real issue with this, but if we don't do it, it's going to cost us 10 times what this is. It's a bad deal, and we need to approve it. You guys can stomp your feet and holler and scream all you want, but if you don't approve it, we're going to be in, my wife told me I couldn't use that word anymore, deep doo-doo. So
so we just do change order 1?
I think we need to do them both.
What if we don't have enough money?
I think the best approach is to authorize the city administrator to, within the funds available, to review the change orders as they come.
But you're asking for $150,000.
Yes.
I have an issue with that.
Okay.
I think we need to do the minimum amount we need to do, and I think there needs to be an investigation into this, and we need to find out what the real story is about all
Well,
this.
I want to know who was supposed to do that reporting. Where does it come down to?
One of our employees.
There's been some changeover at the plant too. Am I right, Larry? We lost an operator, so there's some issues with not having a licensed person on site. Am I right?
Was we had, my public works operation manager has a license, but he couldn't be on site, 100% of the time. We had another gentleman who was in the process of getting a license, or getting his license. He has got it now. And so we do have a full-time licensed man up there. There was just lots of confusion. I lost a couple of administrative staff who helped with the reports.
I know. It's frustrating, and it's frustrating to have, you guys come into this. The bottom line is, what do we need to approve to get us out of this mess so that we don't spend any more money? Is it the 69 and the 30?
That's what I was wanting to know. Is the
Yeah.
69, basically say 70,000, looks like something that we probably should have had in the budget anyway, because apparently we need it or they wouldn't have been all over us about having it. So if we, just a second, please. If we, okay, change order number 1, the fine goes away, correct? Or yes or no?
I've turned in the paperwork, but that's still up to TCQ legal.
Okay, but what I was hearing was, yeah, we need to do this so that'll take care of the fine. What I'm asking is that for a yes or no, is that going to take care of the fine?
I can't give you a yes or no because I'm not TCQ legal.
Okay.
May I ask another
Yes,
question, Mayor?
ma'am. Are you done, Jesse?
Yes, go ahead.
So this payment from the utility fund that I see there, that was a payment already budgeted for and it's taken care of? When on that slide that shows payments.
These are payments all from the loan funds that we have for the wastewater treatment plant. There's no funds from...
I thought I saw something that was the other one that was from the utility
The design was paid out, the design of the wastewater plant was paid out of utility funds.
And that's been paid for?
And that's all paid for, yes.
So the design and planning is the fault of these violations?
No. Some of these violations are from things that have been here multiple years.
But don't we pay an engineer to oversight this stuff?
Not that. Well, some of the violations existed back when they in 2014. A lot of them the city took care of. I'll give one example. There's a totaling flow device that was there. One of the violations was supposed to be at the end of the plant. We had it in between two of the pieces of equipment that operated, because where they wanted to put it at the end of the plant was going to get demolished with the new construction. But they still fined us for it. It's not much, but they made it a minor fine, but still, that was some of the fines that they're looking at.
But those were minor ones. Like, the major ones were...
The coordination building.
And, well, monthly reports. This one's an $18,000 fine in there. They call it a major one for failed to submit monthly reclaimed water forms to CEQ. These are reporting things. Y'all have all the information now. We can digest it. We need to approve these. It's going to save us money down the road. It's a tough pill to swallow. Ask any more questions you want, but when the bottom line, when the rubber hits the road, we got to approve this so that we don't spend $150,000 or $200,000 on this.
I got a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, at 3:43 this afternoon, I get an email. It's the first time I've seen this. I never knew anything. I knew about it, but it had no details. So my understanding is you got 111 plus you got approximately $120,000 left. My question is, when you go through all of the things that I haven't read in this document, and there's potential fines for quite a large number, 8 or 10, maybe 12, When you add all those up, what do they add up to?
The 69,000 we have on the,
So you're comfortable that everything that's outlined in here will be remedied for, now, I'd like to get a little clarification. I can remember one thing I read was signs were missing, supposed to be in English and in Spanish.
and we can't put those up right now because the fences are down.
Well, that was the next part, the fence. You've priced all of those things into this
No,
69,000?
there's only certain things that allow me to price in.
So are you saying to us that you're going to come back later after we approve the 69,000 so we can pay the fine? Are you going to come back to us later and give us another bill for the cost of what it's going to take to fix this stuff?
No, because the fence is already in this project. The signs, I mean, that's a minor thing. We have the signs, we just got to put them back up. The only thing that's in here, I mean, the other's paperwork that we've pretty much already corrected all the paperwork. We've already submitted them all the documents they wanted. The only thing that is not in here is the violation for the trees around the ponds. And until I can get the treatment plant completely finished and I can take down the ponds, I don't know what that's going to take. That's the only thing that's not in the existing contract.
And what's the worst case scenario for the trees if we have to remove them?
Who knows?
Is there a guesstimate?
I'm worried, my big worry on taking down the trees, if I just cut them, then the roots and everything are going to rot away, and then how much am I going to weaken the dams to the ponds?
Todd, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, Herb, you done?
I think so.
Todd?
I'm trying to soak all this up.
I hear you. It's a lot. It's a lot. It basically comes down to this. I believe change order number 1 we need to approve. Correct, Marie?
Yes.
All right. Change order number 2, can we wait on that?
There's no way that we can't slow down this project. We're getting to substantial completion soon, and we'll be transitioning from the existing treatment plant to the new treatment plant. So anytime we delay something, we're going to be slowing the project down.
Okay. What I suggest we do is that we make a motion to approve change order 1 and change order 2. And I would ask this council to, in the motion, to have an investigation done by the city attorney into this to find out what's going on, why we're in this position, because I just don't like the information we're getting.
I have one more question for Larry, if I may. Larry, the chlorination problem that TCEQ had, is that with the new facility or was that with the old facility?
It's with an old facility. I think, I don't know if all the council members know, most of it, we use reuse water from the plant to irrigate on the Bowman property and to irrigate the park.
Right.
This chlorination building that we got the fine on is the one that coordinates that.
That water, okay. And that will be remedied when the new plant comes online?
No, that will be remedied with this change order.
Okay.
Last question.
Yes, ma'am.
On page 22, so if we satisfy this violation, the funds would come from the sewer budget, meaning that these funds had not been budgeted. So we'll be taking from the sewer budget and be in debt.
Right now, we're taking from the loan,
No, but on your second page, you said if we have
to do those other 2 projects, like the sludge tanks and the electric conduit, then we would do those projects because those need to be